Hey everybody, now I'm going to show you how to use SysPrep to prepare a Windows install to be moved either from one computer to another, or if you're willing to use it to make deployments on multiple computers. This can be used in a situation where you're wanting to replace your motherboard or something major in your computer. You can use SysPrep and generalize your hardware configuration so that way Windows will have a better chance of starting on the new hardware. And let's say if you're in a case like me who, in this situation where I refurbish computers, I do a lot of computers that have Windows Vista 32-bit installed. And I have it already configured with the typical software I have installed, pre-installed pretty much. You have Google Chrome, let's see, QuickTime Player, OpenOffice, Office Starter 2010, Google Earth, ABG Antivirus, AllZip, Adobe Reader, see, K-Lite Codec Pack, and a couple other things. Pretty much the essentials, so that way whoever buys a computer doesn't have to go online and download a bunch of stuff in order to like watch a video or things like that. Basically, it's configured the way I like to have my refurbished machines configured. So basically, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to SysPrep this install. What I've done is I made a copy off of the main hard drive to this crappy old Toshiba drive here. Then I'm going to move this and store it as a virtual disk on the Tower Deluxe for when I need it. Now, the last time I tried this was on a it was on a virtual machine. I did a install Windows Vista in a virtual machine and then generalized it, and then for some reason when I tried to deploy it on a computer like this one, it did not deploy successfully. So it's really hit or miss. Hopefully this time it'll work out better, seeing that I'm starting out with a actual hardware configuration. It seems to help that way. So anyways, I'm going to show you. Now I've done some talking, I'm going to show you how to do this. It's really simple. And it's pretty much the same in different versions of Windows. This is Windows Vista. It's the same as Windows 7 and probably the same as Windows 8 as well. What you do is you click on Start, you go to Computer, go to your C drive, your Windows, System 32, and SysPrep. Scroll down for it. SysPrep. And you'll launch this utility here. And what you want to do is you can either enter system audit mode or you want to enter out-of-box experience. Basically the way this thing's going to act is it's going to act after you generalize and do the SysPrep tool. It's going to act like an OEM machine that you pulled out of the box. It's going to ask you to set your time zone. It's going to ask you to create a user account. But the neat thing here is your existing user account is not deleted or anything. It remains. So what I do when I use this tool is when I deploy this on a new computer, which I'll include in this video the process of doing that whenever that time comes, what I do is I just create a temp account, then log into the existing account and then go into account settings and delete that temp account. So we're going to generalize this SysPrep. Basically it generalizes the drivers and we want to shut down the computer. Say OK. And right now it's going to say SysPrep is working. Processing cleanup phase SysPrep plugins. Processing generalized phase SysPrep plugins. Basically, again, what it's doing here is it is generalizing the drivers on this machine, so that way, which is not actually on this computer, it's actually on that little Toshiba drive. As I mentioned, I cloned these two, so that way it wouldn't affect this computer, because this one is a refurbished machine that's ready to be sold. But I figured what I'd do is I'd SysPrep this to this configuration here, so that way if I get ready to refurbish some more desktops, I'll just be able to copy the drive over and be done. Which I'll include the process of doing that. And the computer's going to shut down. Now in the case of if you're just looking to replace your motherboard or something like that, this will be the first step. And you wouldn't have to clone your disk or anything, you would just SysPrep it, which I would recommend doing a backup in that case. But anyways, this concludes phase 1. Okay, everybody, this is going to be phase number 2 of the process of using SysPrep. Basically, what I've done here is I took that little Toshiba hard drive and I copied its partition to a virtual hard disk on the Mid-Tower Deluxe, and I'll go ahead and show it to you in its folder. Get the stuff off my screen. Anyways, there it is. Generalized Vista Home Premium x86. This is in the images that I use for refurbished computers. That's the only one I have right now. You know, it's funny, Windows Vista has such a bad reputation painted on it, but it's still supported until 2017, and I get a lot of, and it's just like it was with Windows XP years ago with my refurbished computers. I used to get a lot of XP keys. Now I get a lot of Vista keys, either on computers that are brought in for trades or computers that they're a bunch of trades that don't work. I salvage the keys off them and reuse them. So anyways, that's why I have Vista on some of my refurbished computers. Anyways, it works. So let's go ahead and start the computer, and I'll show you this part of SysPrep. Let's see if it will work on this particular hardware configuration. I'm actually re-imaging this computer. Because it was pretty much, I guess I could say, a loaner. As you can see, Windows Vista is starting up, and it's going to behave like it's fresh out of the box. As you see, it says, "Please wait while Windows sets up your computer." And it's basically like setting this thing up fresh out of the box. Computer's restarting. This took a few minutes, so I went to skip that. It's just sitting and watching a screen. So when this completes, we should finally be presented with the prompts to enter some information. Now mind you guys, this isn't a clean install. As you saw earlier, it had some software already on it, so I can tell you it's running much faster than it was prior. That's normal. Sometimes your integrated graphics will do that. You may have to install some drivers. Your experience will vary. Now typically when SysPrep is used on machines, we are not generalizing the setup, you're just simply deploying to the same computer. You shouldn't have to really worry about drivers. But we are in fact going from an NVIDIA based board to a HCI based motherboard. Anyways, here we're being presented with, you know, the typical things you would normally see in setup, or if you unbox a OEM machine. You set a country and region, you know, all that good stuff. I'm going to enter the product key, which we retrieve that is on the back of the side panel. I have it wrote down there. Accept the license terms. Now here is where I just create a temporary user account, because your existing user account is still there. Assign this a name, which I'll retrieve the name off the sticker right there. Sorry about the shaking. Don't care about the desktop background, because this account here is going to be removed. Turn off Windows Update for now. Eastern Time, look at that, it's already set because it was SysPrep that way. This is typical, Windows Vista. Now, one thing I hate about Windows Vista is it likes to WinSat your computer during setup. And what I mean by WinSat is it likes to run the Windows Experience Index and check your computer's performance and all that. Now keep in mind, this happens when you're installing the OS as well, and especially in that scenario when half your drivers are missing. What's the point? You're going to get crappy ratings when you don't have the proper drivers installed. Whereas in Windows 7, after that last click, I'll have been presented my desktop. Now I'll go and sign in as the user account. That's the one that was already on here. Obviously, in your case, you just sign in with the user account that was already there that you created. And have a look here. In this case, we'll need to do a little bit of software cleanup. I probably should have uninstalled this NVIDIA settings thing prior to that, because this is in fact a ATI graphics based machine. Let's check our device manager. You see this machine is running fabulous. The Realtek high def audio is carried over. Pentium D 3 GHz CPU. This will have to be updated. That's actually a Radeon Express 1100, which we can do that through Windows Update. It's not a big deal. As I was mentioning earlier, well, I probably cut that out of the video, but I mentioned about how Windows Vista, one thing I don't like about it is it likes to it forces you to go through Windows Experience Index scanning to determine your computer's performance prior to getting a chance to get all your drivers installed. Now, it actually got a 3.0 for graphics here, which I'm surprised. And it's funny, with that Celeron D CPU is only getting like a 2.5 for graphics. See, it's funny, in integrated graphics, or at least in older integrated graphics, even a better processor could improve the performance of your integrated graphics. The drivers look okay, so let's go ahead and go to user account control, make sure it's turned off, which I think it is because it's not prompting me. Okay, that's good. I don't like user account control in Windows Vista. Let's go back to user accounts because we need to delete the other account. That temp account, let's go ahead and get rid of it. Delete files, delete account. And as you see, it deleted it very quickly because it hadn't even had a chance to prepare that account yet. So now it's just back to the way it was before. Now let's need to go and activate Windows. Shouldn't give me too much problem because it's the same hardware configuration as that key was used last on. Okay. Windows is activated. Alright friends, video go and restart the computer. That wasn't too bad of a startup for Vista. Yeah, this thing performed pretty good, I must say. Yeah, whoever buys, I think they'll be pleased with it. A system like this I'll probably sell for probably 120 bucks. And believe me, I've sold a bunch of computers like this. I have sold semi-refurbished computers, it's hard to count. Now pretty much all I need to do is go ahead and turn Windows Update back on and let it install any needed driver updates and things like that. But of course, in your case, things may be a little bit different. You may have to download drivers off the internet from websites for your computer, because as I mentioned, every case is different. This is just an example of how to use SysPrep to move from one computer to another. Or in my case, what I did was I refurbished a computer, had everything set up exactly the way I wanted to in regards to software, and I went ahead and SysPrepped it to save that. Well, basically I copied the information to a separate hard drive, booted off that hard drive, SysPrepped it, copied it to a virtual hard drive file on the Mid-Tower Deluxe. That way it's there for whenever I need it. And anytime I want to refurbish a computer, all I gotta do is, if I get a computer in, make sure it's working good, pull the hard disk out, or if it's a new hard drive, do the same thing. Get the hard drive ready, plug up to the Mid-Tower Deluxe, copy the partition over, install it into the computer to be refurbished, boot the computer, complete setup, and be done. See, I know I just mentioned a bunch of little steps there. But this is an example of how to use SysPrep. I'm going to turn updates back on. Anyways, any questions or comments? Feel free to ask, and thanks for watching.